It's no surprise that most big-name athletes are considered role models. Of course, they're usually admired for their skills and achievements, but some are also idolized for their good deeds on and off the field too. Get ready to have your faith in humanity temporarily restored. Let's get it on! Athletes are admired by people of all ages, and this young football fan is a true sentiment of that. As Neymar was coming off the pitch for a substitution, the young fan ran up to him with tears in his eyes to embrace his idol. And Neymar could have easily let security escort the kid out, but instead, he decided to have a chat with the boy and protect him from security. To top it all off, he also left him with his match-worn shirt, probably the biggest honor any fan could expect from their idol. And there's a reason we use the word sportsmanship to describe honorable behavior. Here's Cristiano Ronaldo to show us exactly what it means. During a tough 2018 World Cup match for Portugal, Edinson Cavani picked up an injury in the 71st minute after scoring 2 goals for Uruguay. He signaled that there was a problem and started limping off the pitch. Without hesitating, Ronaldo immediately ran to Cavani's aid, despite the 2 goals his country conceded by Cavani himself. Athletes are often superstitious people, so this moment really proves how giving Mo Salah can be. This match marked Salah's 100th Premier League goal, which is a very elusive achievement in football. All eyes were on him, but he was looking out to his fans. Most people probably would have kept the shirt they were wearing when they achieved something so monumental, but not him. He took it off and handed it to a young and very excited fan instead. All tennis fans know that Novak Djokovic enjoys being a bit of a showman. He saw the perfect opportunity to make someone's day during a quick break, and he took it. Instead of leaving the ball boy to hold the umbrella for him, he decided to invite him over for a chat and drink. They sat on the bench together and exchanged a few words, much to the delight of everyone watching. When it was time to get back to work, they ended with a handshake and an anecdote that boy will be telling for years. LeBron James is a well-known nice guy, but what does it take to actually get a hug from him? Well, it seems one way is to win $75,000. This fan landed a one-handed hook shot from half court to win an amazing $75,000. That was only half of his prize. The unexpected part of this victory was being tackled by the NBA superstar, who couldn't have been more excited for the fan. You've got to wonder if that guy was more excited about the money or the hug. It would be easy for athletes to be overjoyed when an opponent injures themselves, but true sportsmen don't see it that way. Bulgarian tennis player Grigor Dimitrov proved himself to be a true contender in this tight match against Englishman Kyle Edmund. In the final of the Brisbane tournament, Edmund suffered a cramp that prevented him from completing the match. But the most surprising thing is that before the doctors could even come to his aid, Grigor was already there to help. Luckily, Edmund recovered in time to finish the match, which eventually went to Dimitrov in a well-deserved victory. Any parent will tell you, if you give one kid something, you have to give the other one too. Montreal Canadiens forward Dale Weiss seems to have that figured out. When he realized that the young fan was upset, he tossed a puck into the stands and made this kid's day, week, and maybe even year. I feel like he never let that puck out of his sight from then on. Luckily for kind-hearted athletes, it's pretty easy to give fans the ultimate gift. As Neymar was being substituted off the pitch during a charity match, he showed just how much he loves his fans by giving this young supporter his very own game boots. He may have had to walk barefoot a little, but I'm sure the boy's happiness was definitely worth it. Even the greats like Rafael Nadal can't always return a strong serve the way they intended. True to form, he made his best attempt to return the ball, but unfortunately, things didn't go to plan, and it went straight toward the young ball girl. Nadal immediately went to check on her. It must have hurt, but the brave girl insisted she was okay and clearly wanted to stay on, so Nadal decided to apologize to her with a kiss on the cheek.
Oh, that's a wonderful moment, though. Good girl.
Talk about an emotional roller coaster. Security is important at big games, but sometimes things can get a little out of hand. Christian Pulisic was about to do some post-match interviews when a kid ran onto the field to meet him. Security stepped in quickly and manhandled the kid away, which everyone seemed to agree was unnecessary. But Pulisic was particularly upset by the way the child was being escorted out. He abandoned his interview and ran to help the child. He even made sure the kid got a selfie and an autograph before he was taken off the field. There are many ways to show appreciation to your fans, but none of them quite match up to this. Hockey player Jordan Tutu nearly walked past this young fan on the way to the locker room until the child shouted his name in excitement. He could have easily just nodded or let them take a picture, but instead, he decided to gift the kid his stick. Talk about a 1 in a million chance. LeBron James is considered the GOAT for a reason. Of course, people admire him because of his incredible skills on the court, but that's definitely not the only thing elevating his name. After a Lakers game, LeBron can be seen handing over game memorabilia to his young fans, but by the time he reached the last kid, he'd already run out of things to give away. So instead of leaving him empty-handed, he gifted him his game-worn shoes. As a nice added bonus, he even signed them afterwards. It's easy for things to go wrong during a match. It's how you deal with those mistakes that really counts. German player Sasha Zverev needed to pull off a really good shot if he was going to win this point, and that's exactly what he did. Unfortunately, the ball accidentally ricocheted and hit a little girl sitting in the audience. Zverev was clearly concerned, and even though the girl wasn't badly hurt, he took the first chance he got to apologize. He even decided to give her the only thing he had at that moment, his headband, which he tied onto her head himself. It's no secret that LeBron James is incredibly humble, but it's always heartwarming to watch him interacting with his fans. During this match, he lost the ball out of bounds, and because he's LeBron, he of course tried to run it down. He just wasn't fast enough though, but all the forward momentum took him toward the crowd. Instead of just turning around and getting back to the game like anyone else would have done, he just kept going and took a moment to give a fan a kiss on the hand. I bet she'll never wash that hand ever again. A lot of people forget that it's important to respect your elders. When James Harden heard this lady was spending her 100th birthday watching him play, he was determined to give her a worthy gift. So he went over to say hello after the match and even gifted her the game ball. You can just tell how excited she was to meet him as well as exchange a few words. Players probably forget sometimes how important they are to their fans, but Chris Paul couldn't miss how special this encounter was to his little fan. He stopped to give the boy his game-worn shoes, but the kid couldn't seem to contain his excitement. Overjoy turned into happy tears, and he couldn't help but dip under the barrier for a quick hug, and Chris was more than happy to give him that small indulgence. Many of you will already know that Olympic swimming races have a no false start rule. Any false start means an instant disqualification, so things took a turn for the worse for Miguel Duran Navia when this happened at the Rio Olympics during the 400-meter freestyle heats. He was clearly upset and left in tears, but in an amazing turn of events, the judges met and decided they would allow him to compete anyway. Unfortunately, he didn't advance, but at least he was allowed to give it his best shot. Athletes don't always realize their own strength. During a warm-up, Ronaldo missed a penalty kick which flew over the crossbar and struck a female steward directly in the back of the head. Without hesitation, he jumped the barrier to come to the aid of the woman as she lay on the ground. Eventually, she could get back up though, and as a show of good faith, Ronaldo even gifted her with a jersey once she had recovered. Of course, it's not just the athletes who display generosity and sportsmanship. This teenage fan got incredibly lucky when he was awarded a foul ball. Most people would have taken that lucky souvenir and held onto it tightly. Not this fan. He decided that someone else might be better off with it. Even though nobody asked, and he certainly didn't have to, he got up and handed the ball over to a small child in the stands.
Nice.